Welcome to Fiber Chronicles, where you can join me on my journey through the fiber arts. I am Bonnie, and you can find me on Ravelry and Facebook as Fiber Chronicles, and you can email me at fiberchronicles@gmail.com. Today we'll talk about finished objects, works in progress, and some acquisitions. I have two finished objects to show you today. The first one is the preemie baby hat pattern that I have been working on. This one is the 3 to 5 pound preemie size. I plan on doing a video showing me doing the 1 to 3 pound size, and so that you can watch how I go through the whole thing. I should have this pattern written up soon and have it available on Ravelry, so you can look forward to that. My second finished object is my very first pair of adult-sized socks. This is the Exceedingly Vanilla sock pattern by Andy of 1000 Stitches podcast, or she is also Pearlbug for her blog name and her Ravelry ID. She has a 1000 Stitches podcast Ravelry group. Right now she is doing a knit along for this pair of socks that she published the pattern not long ago, and she's doing a knit along for it. The knit along lasts through April 15th, 2018. There are still just a couple weeks left, so if you want to make a pair of socks, then this is a nice one for a first pair of socks. This pattern has a heel gusset and it has a heel flap and gussets for its construction. You can choose the length of your cuff and stitches on your leg. I like to have ribbing right to the heel of my socks. That I wear short socks that are, this is a little bit longer, but I wanted to finish this particular color repeat, and so it would look nice when it went into the heel and on the front as well. For works in progress, I know last time I showed this, my colorwork yoke that I've been working on, that I'm going to steek. I have very little progress on it. I have found that the brown yarn gives me allergy problems. I get sinus headaches when I'm using it, and so I've kind of put it off for just a bit until I can work on it outside, maybe see if that'll work. And I also thought that since I have this yellow that I wasn't able to use in the yoke because it was not enough contrast with the cream, then I thought I would figure out if I could change the colors in the main body and have a nice transition and have the yellow as a good part of the body instead of the brown. My other work in progress, I have very little done on it because I found that I didn't like the way it was working, and so I ripped it out, and I haven't frogged it, but I pulled the needle out and I'm going to be frogging it. It looks pretty nice. It's the Japanese lace knitting that is, the pattern is in the Ravelry group for Color Work with Debbie, and it is her April 2018 cal, and I'm really happy with what I'm doing, but I had I had one stitch in particular that I just couldn't get to work right. It wasn't looking right. I also felt like I wanted it to be on a slightly smaller gauge, so I switched down a needle size with what I'm doing, and I'm going to be pulling this out, and I will probably start over again today. I also am worried that because I have I have 3 These two have not yet been wound up. I got these at a thrift store also, and they seem very much to be the same, but this one that was wound up when I got it looks like it might be a slightly different color, and so I'm worried that there might be a little adjustment. I thought it was just that it had been wound up, so it looks slightly different, and you can find this color in it in places when you look, but I'm thinking that they're hand dyed and slightly different, and I'm going to do some alternating of balls, of skeins, and so that I can make sure to not have a big change at the time. And that was the main reason why I went ahead and decided to pull it out instead of just continuing on the way I was after I figured out how to do the stitch I was having so much trouble with, which was a central double decrease. That should be great when I get this figured out and get it going. I was very happy with Roxanne Richardson, who has, I watch her YouTube channel frequently, and the reason I'm happy with her is because yesterday morning I went onto YouTube and she'd put up her new video, and it was a centered double decrease. So I watched it and said, that is exactly the stitch that I have never done before except in this Japanese knitting that I'm doing, and I know it's wrong, and all 4 of them that I've done had turned out differently. So I watched her video. It came out wonderfully. I understand it. It was so easy to understand, and if I have trouble I can always go back to her video, because I put it in my watch later list to make sure I'd have it when I need it. So she is one YouTube channel I would recommend to anyone, Roxanne Richardson. She also has Rocks as a Ravelry group, and she likes to talk about genealogy, and I enjoy genealogy. So those are my works in progress. I am seriously considering going ahead and casting on the silver leaf shawl that I really want to do. That is, yeah, I really want to do that. So I might. I do have some acquisition. I'm very happy with these acquisitions, so let me show them to you. I have this beautiful heathered dark purple yarn. It is a natural fiber such as wool and natural animal fiber. I did the match test to see how it burned. I got it at a thrift store, so I don't know exactly, but it definitely smelled like burning hair and crumbled up totally when the ashes crumbled up totally. Definitely a natural fiber. So this, and I think this is enough to make a pair of fingerless mitts or something, and it would make a beautiful colored fingerless mitts. So I'm very happy with this. I really like it. And the other day, my husband went to a thrift store and found some yarn, and he rarely stops and buys yarn for me when he finds it. Well, he probably rarely finds it. But he came home with 4 skeins of Lamb's Pride bulky yarn from the thrift store. It's a 85% wool, 15% mohair, 4-ounce skeins, 125 yards per skein. And he brought 2 in Tahiti teal, which is a very nice dark teal. And then he also got 2 in Turkish olive. Very nice. I wouldn't quite say forest green, because forest green is slightly brighter, but it's even darker than a forest green. But it's a very nice color. It's quite nice, and they go really well together, so that I could do a gradient. And in storage in my stash, I have some navy blue bulky yarn that is similar. It isn't the same, but it's similar, and I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I am thinking that it would look great with these, so I could have a 3-color gradient. So I think that's really exciting that he happened to get something that I could use with what I already had and didn't know what to do with it. That'll give me a really nice project when I figure out what I'm going to do with it, and that makes me very happy to have a husband that loves me enough to bring me yarn. Some of the other things I bought are not actually knitting related, but they are sewing related. I got a quilting ruler and a cutting mat for my rotary cutter. I already have a rotary cutter, and I've just been using a inexpensive cutting board from the dollar store, one of those flexible ones, and I was shredding it. It was coming up. It had strips now. It just could not hold up to the rotary cutter. So I bought these to help with to make it faster with my making of project bags. I did some cutting with them. It worked really nicely. It worked really well. Much better than my yardstick, and for it's okay. The last thing I want to talk about are some of the things I've made that I hope to put in my shop when I have a shop. I've made some stitch markers. So let me show you what I have. And if you have an opinion on them, you can let me know in the comment section below what you think. And most of these are sets with the knitting stitch markers, and then have a progress keeper to go along with them. Then I am going to do some sets that are all the progress marker type, and so that you can use them with the crocheting. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. I will see you next time. Be sure and subscribe if you want to watch some more. Bye.